Come with us now, if you dare, down a rickety staircase into a dank, dark basement. What awaits? The Saturday Night Freak Show.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Saturday Night Freak Show podcast, the movie review and talk show podcast that comes your way every Saturday, whether you're ready for it or not, because we're in a quest to dominate the global airwaves. Kind of, we're forming a cult. That's basically what we're doing.
You can say that.
Of all of our
now
listeners.
You're speaking my language, Colin.
Right? These are the internet radio superstars.
Holly.
Michaela.
And I'm Colin. And tonight we watched the movie that was chosen by
Michaela, what did we watch tonight?
We watched Kristy. You have to whisper it, apparently.
From the year
2014. 10 years old.
10 years old. An alum.
Yes.
Directed by
Ollie Blackburn.
Do we know Ollie Blackburn?
Oh, if you're into unsavory things, yeah. Anybody ever hear the movie Donkey Punch?
Yeah.
Oh,
The writer and director of Donkey Punch directed this movie. I'm sorry. Had I known that, I might not have picked it, to be honest. That is one of the most reprehensible movies I've ever seen.
Oh, you've seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I dated a guy who thought that that edgy kind of stuff was entertaining.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember there was a hubbub kind of when it came out. I mean, that's a ploy, right?
Yes.
For Blackburn to try and get noticed. Was that his first movie?
Yes.
Okay. So he got noticed and then leveraged that into a career that incled Kristy.
And then TV ever since.
Well, yeah, but you
there
get
it
to
is.
direct.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I suppose it's.
Hey,
you
I
know,
feel like he's working.
yeah, you got a career.
Do what
you
you
know.
gotta do.
Well, I mean, your options are either you're the Donkey Punch guy forever or you go do TV. It feels like, you made such a bold statement with your first movie that you either
I'd rather be known for TV.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Does everybody remember Donkey Punch? What's Donkey Punch?
Oh, boy. They came out when I was in high school, and just look up the synopsis.
Okay.
You'll get it.
It's named after a vulgar,
an extreme, I don't even want to say sex move because it's like a violent assault.
Yeah.
But
It's an act.
but it takes that disgusting thing a step further in that movie.
Right.
So
It takes place on a boat, if I remember. Yeah.
just the most hateable people ever on a
Filthy
boat.
and vulgar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So had you seen this movie before tonight?
I had not.
No, you hadn't. Colin,
No.
you had.
I did because I was trying to think how did this come across my radar?
Right.
And
I had never heard of this.
Well, it
think-
originally premiered on Lifetime.
Oh,
Believe it or
What?
not. Yes.
Oh, did it?
And then was sold to Netflix and was a Netflix original movie.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
I saw it on Netflix.
Okay.
So there was some kind of talk around it. I think, but see, even when you brought it up last week, I was like, oh, that's the Ashley Greene movie.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it
yes.
turns out she's not the star of the movie.
No.
And who's Ashley Greene?
Twilight.
Alice from Twilight.
Yeah,
Okay.
Alice from Twilight.
And
She'll always be that.
She'll always be Alice from Twilight.
does she have a following?
No.
Twilight
not really.
following.
Yeah, Twilight. That's it.
Yeah.
All those Twilight people that weren't Robert Pattinson or Kristen Stewart
Yeah.
faded into obscurity
They-
rather quickly.
They all do conventions
Yep.
now.
Did she do something before Twilight, or she just
She was
kind
a
of
model.
Yeah.
okay?
She was a model before that, and she's done some smaller roles since then.
TV
but-
stuff
yeah.
too.
Well, I remember. It seems to me like I saw the Twilight movies,
Sure.
right? I guess she didn't stand out. And then later, I remember on social media seeing all this stuff about Ashley Greene. And I'm like, okay, there must be people who are interested in Ashley Greene. And then it seemed like she was appearing in a bunch of, were they direct-to-video horror movies?
Probably.
I remember one called
She's
The
in Hallmark
Apparition.
movies now.
The what?
She's in Hallmark movies
That
now.
tracks.
Okay, so she's all right. Well, because the Twilight audience has aged up. And
Yep, that's
they're
our
into-
demographic
and
now.
they're into the Hallmark movies now. The Apparition was like a ghost story. She was in that. I remember seeing it. It seems like she was in several other low budget horror movies. Like they were trying to capitalize on her.
She was in some small stuff in between, but nothing that was popular and prominent.
Well, I looked up her resume there right before we started recording, and I mean, she's done a lot.
Yeah.
Very few horror movies, it turns out, even though I remember her as at some point they tried to say the Twilight girl, she's a vampire, so she'll be in horror stuff. And then the horror audience was, no.
No.
Somewhere in there
Thanks,
was
but no
Kristy.
thanks. Try again next year. We'll
Yeah.
try this again next year. See how you've grown.
Who is the star? Of
Right, I was going to say,
Kristy?
who does star in this?
Haley
Not Ashley
Bennett.
Greene. Do we know Haley Bennett?
She's been in everything you've ever seen. You just never noticed.
I recognized her from, she was in The Haunting of Molly Hartley.
Mhm.
Oh my God!
Yeah, she was in that, and she was in Girl on the Train.
She was also in the whole previous episode of this
No.
podcast.
Not that hole.
Not
The-
that whole.
She was in
oh,
the Joe
damn it.
Dante hole.
Never
the
mind.
3D one.
The
Different
3D hole. Okay.
Yeah, I remember
hole.
her.
Wrong hole.
Wrong hole.
Oh, take a drink. No, so she's most popular or familiar to this audience probably from Swallow.
Yeah, probably.
That'd be the movie that you because that was
But good God, this woman works. From
Yeah.
2019 to 2020, she did Swallow, the Red Sea Diving Resort, The Devil All the Time, and Hillbilly Elegy. Like, she
forgot
was
she was in
all
all the
over the
time.
place.
Was she
And
in?
Cyrano, too. Till. My God, she's been in all these Oscar bait movies, too.
Yeah.
Wasn't she? I'm having a vision of her and Peter Sarsgaard. Right? Was she in the Magnificent Seven?
Yes, she was.
I think she was the wife who hires the
Mhm.
Magnificent Seven. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
God damn, she's in everything. How do I not remember her? Like, she never registers to me.
Yeah. So
I
why
like
is
her.
that?
Yeah.
Why is that? You can't be a movie star if people don't remember seeing.
Yeah, she doesn't. I don't know. She seems fine. I don't really have a problem with her, but she just doesn't stick.
She has a
I don't know.
sad face.
Yeah, she does.
Like it's a face that seems suited for like tragic movies or
Mhm.
some kind of where she's carrying some kind of emotional baggage.
hmm
Does
Um,
her acting support the face?
Yeah, and she
Yeah.
does like these very like it feels like internalized kind of
Mhm.
like I'm holding this within me. This
She seems very mopey, and
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know.
That's where it worked out real
Yeah.
well in Swallow and you
Yeah.
know some of those other ones
Mm-hmm.
that you mentioned. Who else is in this movie?
Lucas Till, CBS's reboot MacGyver. That's who he is.
Yeah, that actually, because of some of the stuff that happens later in this movie. I was going to say, like, while I was watching it, I'm going to be describing this later. She MacGyvered this thing together.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then I'm like, do people know what the fuck that is?
He's
But-
reboot MacGyver. Yeah.
Reboot MacGyver's in the movie.
His IMDb profile picture is still a MacGyver like promo shot. So, and that show's been off the air for a couple years
Oh, it
now.
has.
So,
Okay.
Wait,
I think so.
Who was he?
Lucas Till,
No,
who was
who
her
was-
boyfriend?
Aaron. Okay.
Yeah, Aaron. Yep.
What was he in like a teen movie that I'm thinking
He's
of?
been in a lot of
Because
stuff.
I recognize
See,
him.
look, his profile picture is still the MacGyver promo.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Because I recognize him, but I feel like
He's been in the recent X-Men movies.
that's probably it.
X-Men Apocalypse and First Class. He is Havoc.
Havoc. That's it. That's what I know him
See the
from.
Screamer?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I know him from.
Yep.
And
I'm like, I'm seeing his face with other young people.
Mhm.
and one other supporting cast member.
Her friend Nicole.
Oh,
That
I was
one?
going to say James Ransone.
Oh, James Ransone. Yeah, from It Chapter 2.
See, that's kind of funny that you go to It Chapter
Yeah.
2 because I go to Sinister.
Oh,
Where he was Deputy so-and-so. Like, that was the performance that
Yeah.
made, I'm like, who is this guy? Because
I
it's
think-
hilarious.
I think It Chapter 2 just shat on me in a way that I can't forget. Like that movie. So his scenes specifically were some of the biggest problems with
Yeah.
that movie. So I
Yeah.
think that's why he stands out.
Well,
Just-
he got that. I think he rode this because I don't remember seeing him before Sinister.
He's also at conventions now, by the way.
Yeah,
Yep.
which I mean, he had a great personality for a great like bit part in
Right.
Sinister. It stood out,
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody tried to cast him and stuff. That I think the biggest thing is It Chapter 2,
Mm-hmm.
and in between, like seriously, unless he appeared in Sinister 2, which he may have,
Mm-hmm.
I think actually maybe he did. As like connective tissue to the first movie,
I'm
but it was
looking to
like,
see what
who
he's been
cares? This
Yeah.
seems to be like, I remember James Ransone is like Sinister, Kristy, It Chapter 2.
He's in the Black Phone.
Yes, I was just like sitting there going like, isn't he the brother?
Oh.
We were having a talk right before we got on the mic about wanting to keep certain stars in the horror genre because we love them so much. Like we said, we'd be really sad if Bill Skarsgård decided he was too good for us.
Mhm.
I have the opposite feelings about James Ransone. Like, stop trying to make it happen with us.
Yeah.
Like, you had your shot. You had your 2 shots. Sinister, you did great, and then you fucked it all up with it. Chapter 2. I don't really want to give you a third chance.
Well,
so
the problem with maybe I don't know. My problem with him is like I just keep wanting to see Deputy So and So.
yeah.
You know, so it's like, oh, it's that guy.
It's the Jim Cummings. But see, I have Jim Cummings. Why do I need James Ransone when I have Jim Cummings? You know.
What has he done lately?
He's in a movie I just watched that I was going to recommend this off mic. It's the Last Stop in Yuma County. It's like a modern Western. Don't be triggered. Richard Brake is also in it. So I need to tell Sean that. He can't watch it without knowing that. But it's very like a one room kind of like The Hateful Eight in the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Did he
Jim
write
Cummings
that
is in it.
too?
No, he's just in it. But he's doing exactly what you want from him in it.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
I've been wanting to watch
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I would watch it. It's worth a watch.
Jim Cummings was the star of The Wolf of Snow Hollow.
Oh, yes. And then the best part of Halloween Kills.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
you
was
know?
like we're upgraded the guy from the the indie movie that we loved into
Yes.
the majors, and he got
Yes.
one scene in the flashback of
We're big fans of him around here. He's
Yeah.
charming. I like it. Yeah.
What was his first? I went back and watched his first movie.
That race car movie, right?
No, maybe it was the second movie. He was a cop. It was almost like he was playing the same character.
He's great at it. Yeah.
Was Yuma County this year or last year?
I thought it was this year, but what does it say? 2023?
You can never tell with these things.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
anyways,
so-
it's great.
And so Kristy, the movie, is a Thanksgiving movie. Now, I know that at the time you're listening to this, you're several weeks on, you're in the Christmas spirit, but we want to make you remember that, yes, when you're planning next year's Thanksgiving movie watching, Kristy is a Thanksgiving movie.
And it gets mentioned more than I thought it would. Like, there's a lot of the constant radio over thing being like, and it's Thanksgiving and tomorrow's Black Friday. Like, a lot of just like diegetic audio, I guess, that is like telling us that. But yeah.
Because basically it takes place, I think, on the day of Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah,
It's
I think
taking
so.
place-
Because everyone goes home the day before, I would
Yeah.
assume. So,
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess, let's what's
so Haley Bennett's at college, and she's gonna stay home for the Thanksgiving break while everyone else is going home. So, her friend, rich friend, and roommate Nicole is gonna stay with her, and they're just gonna have turkey pot pies and red vines and have like a movie marathon. But Nicole's dad is apparently campaigning for something, and they're rich because he decided to put a pause on the campaign trail and take them all to Aspen for the holiday, which tells me there's a whole other interesting movie happening here that I would like to see.
I agree.
Where's the political thriller about whatever shit show this guy is about to get in?
Yeah.
Why is he trotting out his family for a prop on Thanksgiving? Like stopping in the middle of the campaign to pick your
a
favorite.
cynical way to look at things.
No,
Michaela.
And then I want the spin like, oh, now there's a controversy because his daughter's college roommate.
Yes.
This like cult violence scandal.
There's
Like,
a whole
so
other
much
movie
you can do here.
There's a whole movie.
There's a whole thing
Yeah.
here, and I am here for that story.
But Colin, she made it a big deal saying he never does stuff like this. So she was saying this is out of character for him to all of a sudden be like, we're all going on this family trip over
then
Thanksgiving.
why are they doing this?
Right.
What's happening?
What is he trying to get in front of?
I
You know,
agree.
what bad news is about to come
Right?
out. So
I want this story.
Yep.
So
And it's also very important to note that her roommate invites her.
yes, she says, I'll just have him get an extra plane ticket. Come with.
Come to Aspen with my rich family.
Movies that I'll watch that fun movie. That's a Christmas movie.
Come on.
This is where the movie timeline splits.
Right?
If she stays, it's a horror movie. If she goes, it's a Hallmark.
It is a
Christmas
Hallmark movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's also drama because like her boyfriend is at school and he tells her that he loves her, but she won't reciprocate.
Yeah, but also he also invites her to go with him.
Yep.
But she's like, oh, remember last time I went home with you, your family made fun of me for being poor.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then no shit. I
Yeah.
wouldn't go home with him either.
Right.
Fuck that.
Right.
I also understand why she's hesitating saying she loves him.
Right.
I don't want to marry into that family.
Right. Seriously.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
But in the Hallmark movie, what happens? Does he come with? Like, how does that work?
No, in the
She meets a different guy
in
at
the Hallmark movie, she's feeling not quite up to par with his family. So she goes to Aspen where she meets a new guy who's
rich
very
guy.
accepting of
Who
her.
runs like a Christmas tree lot. all year round.
100%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
right, I got you.
that's
He's
his
the rich
job.
guy.
But he looks
no.
like, yeah.
His family owns the ski chalet where
Yes.
they're staying.
And they might close
They might close it,
if they don't throw one big event that would bring
Right.
everybody to the ski
Right.
lounge.
which is important that there's a big politician staying there
Yes.
because that's going to bring
So they got to make them
attention.
happy. Yeah.
There you
Yeah. Why aren't we writing movies?
We
God
didn't even
go.
try.
We just
That was
gave
just
that one
nasty.
away.
Try.
Yeah. I'm
like half awake over here. And
yes,
that's what we came up
yes.
with.
I love how movies can diverge so quickly just
Yeah.
by one choice, right?
Can I ask a question? So you hadn't seen the movie before.
I had not.
And what you just described is basically the setup to the movie proper. But it is actually preceded by a credit sequence and then like a post-credit sequence,
Correct.
which sets something else up. So I want to know how much of what was going on you got right from the get-go of the movie.
So I had seen the trailer. And the trailer is cut in a very interesting way where there's a voiceover and it starts with the clips of the website.
Wow,
And
voiceover
it
in 2014?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it says, there's a place on the internet you can go. And I was like, I don't need to see anymore. I'm sold. And I stopped watching the trailer.
Like, oh, it's the dark net.
I was like, it's the dark net. Yeah, because I didn't want to know about the dark net involvement. So I knew that was a part of it. And I wish I hadn't even known that, to be honest.
My favorite part of this movie is there's a scene when this organization that we're about to talk about is pulled up on a laptop and you just see the browser information at the top. All it says is dark.net.
Like,
Dark
it's
net.
that easy to get to the dark web. You're just
Yeah.
dark.net.
Darknet.
Yeah.
Dark.net.
She's not even in a private browser or anything. Like, she's just out in the open on the darknet.
All right, so some people may be taken by surprise right now that we're talking about the darknet because I guess I assumed that the movie was a slasher film.
Yeah. Same.
And it's really not. It's a survival horror movie. Would that be fair?
It's a better movie. It's a better Purge movie than The Purge. Almost.
Okay.
It's getting close.
Where somebody's going to be chased by a group of people. I guess
Good
maybe
cat
that
and
was.
mouse movie.
I guess going into it, I thought that it was a slasher movie. So it'd be like, okay, it's a girl left alone in a dorm, Thanksgiving, and there's some dude chasing her around. You know, it's going to be Hush or something like that, right?
Oh, don't you dare.
That's a great movie.
But it's not like the
Don't you
opening
dare, I love
scenes.
Hush.
I know that's like coming back around now.
It's
'cause
gonna be in
finally
theaters soon,
out
isn't
of
it?
Netflix jail.
Yeah.
So good. I love that movie.
I think they're supposed to be re-releasing it in theaters.
Yeah,
soon. I
something.
might go see that.
I
It's
love
like a
that
new
movie.
movie to
Yeah.
everybody who didn't have Netflix and
Yes.
could get to see it. But the opening sets up, we get looks at, because I think it's Ashley Greene is narrating, or a woman is narrating, saying you got to kill Kristy. This is like some kind of online darknet cult that chases down women and kills them, or young women, films them, chases them, kills them, and then carves a K into their cheek and then uploads it to this website. Now, why are they doing this? See, this is also given to you in the opening of the movie.
Yeah. I don't agree with a lot of the editing of this movie, I would say.
I mean, it's setting up a lot. There's no mystery later on because
That's the
they've
problem.
delivered this all up front. But so we're going to.
See,
We're
but
gonna do that
I
too.
took it a different way though because I'm like towards the end of the movie, I'm like, okay, where's the exposition dump? Like she doesn't know why they're chasing her,
Right.
Like we do, but we also like, is that it? Like, is there more? I feel like there should be more.
Yeah.
So
Does she ever understand?
Yeah.
What
she
when
finally does.
finds
Well, when she goes to the
Yeah.
website.
But see,
Yeah.
that's what I think from a structural point of view. I don't know, would it have been stronger? And I assume there is a cut, and maybe it's scripted that you find out what's going on when
Right.
she gets the cell phone,
Right.
and realizes, okay, there's other women have been uploaded. Like you wouldn't get that into the third act.
I bet you that like title sequence where we get the voiceover of what the whole thing is was like a studio note to add in.
I wonder.
Because
Yeah.
I agree. I'm on board with the movie that doesn't show me until the third act, but I could see a studio exec being like, audiences are not going to hang on this long.
yeah, I agree that
Yeah.
I would have liked to have it later on.
Yeah.
But they also would have needed a stronger story
Right.
because
There's not enough happening until
there's
then.
not enough happening. And if we got to that point where they tell us what's actually happening, you're just like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Like I need more of a reason.
Yeah, but you still ended up with a Well, that's it.
I did.
Yeah.
But it would have been even worse if like that was the big reveal.
There's a lot of montages of her dancing to just what feels like kill time in this movie.
Oh,
That
yeah.
it's like this is already a lean runtime,
Yeah.
and it feels like there's a lot of padding in
It's
there.
like, here's her day, everybody's gone and she's got the place to herself and the freedom of being, and then I'm like, okay, this is going to be contrasted with later in the weekend and she's bored,
It makes a lot of sense when you say that this was originally a Lifetime movie.
yeah,
A lot
right.
of sense.
Because it's like, but you could tell that they like must have put a little bit more money in it than Lifetime because there
Yeah.
is licensed music in this movie,
Yeah.
and Lifetime would never like it
So
would
I
be
wonder if it
sounded
was a
like music.
pickup,
Yeah.
like it was produced and Lifetime bought it.
I'm sure it
And
was.
then Netflix acquired it. Like later, there was some kind of, pipe distribution deal. Now it's on Stars.
Yeah.
Apparently, is the
The
only way
only
that you
place.
can see it.
Yep.
So you may have seen it in the past, or that's where it is as of right now.
I want to hear from our listeners who actually watches Stars.
Well, so I looked it up because I had to Google to remember what show I used to watch on Stars. Ash vs. Evil Dead was on Stars.
Oh, that's right.
Which is exactly why that show got canceled because who the fuck watches
Nobody watches
Stars?
Stars.
It was that and Spartacus.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Was what Stars is known for. And you said Outlander.
Yep.
Outlander was originally on Stars. Yeah.
Yep.
And it may be somewhere else now.
And I didn't even watch that. I just know it was on there.
Yeah. And that was the bigger hit, probably.
Yeah.
So I guess this is so some studio exec or producer or maybe the director, somebody decided, okay, because you think of if you didn't have that opening, right? Which explains that there's a group of people on the dark net that are hunting women and calling them Kristy. So, like, first you're like, they're hunting down anybody who's named Kristy, but no, it's like they just name every woman who appears innocent as
Innocent,
Kristy.
privileged, pretty are the things they point out that they're looking for, which is important with the car later.
And Kristy, being a derivative of Christina, is somehow like chosen by them as like a follower of Christ.
They said because the Latin translation is like close to Christ or something like that, and they think that that's like wrong to compare yourself to Christ in that way. So that's what makes her a target. But
they want to kill God.
Yeah.
So they want to kill followers of
It's
God.
right.
Will kill Kristy.
It's such a goddamn stretch.
It
It's
is.
like,
Such a good.
what?
Did you know that Holly is Latin for the Holy One?
so they should be hunting.
So they should be hunting me.
Called
Yeah.
Holly.
Yeah.
But like,
Good luck, bitches.
just like it would be more interesting if they were hunting down specifically Christie's, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That would be more like the scene in the gas station could have been a really tense scene of her trying to look at her ID to see if her name is Kristy
Right,
instead
yeah.
of what we got.
Yeah.
Like there's so many good ways you can go with that.
Yeah, and it's like all of a sudden I suppose then it makes it harder to find actual, victims, but
But you can't have too many and then you draw too much attention to yourself. That's what I'm saying. The amount
all over the country,
which
it
isn't
seems like.
that's what makes this movie insane. Like
Yeah.
is that it keeps stretching the logic and it wants me to believe that dozens of people all with the same K on their face. Like no one's made
No
the
one's
connection.
connecting
No
this.
one's connected
Yeah.
any
I
of this.
think we do see news reports that like somebody's missing, and the FBI is now looking into the deaths of these women. So it's like, okay, it is, but that's like so far removed from this girl's
Exactly.
And well, and-
day to day.
And we opened this movie with this like shitty car and them like in the middle of a field walking away from what we see is eventually a dead body.
Mhm.
They're a bunch of fucking crackheads. And they
Yeah.
just leave the body out in the open. Like
Right.
you can't tell me that there's not going to be some follow up on this. They're doing a shitty job.
There's nothing sophisticated about
No.
this operation.
Nothing
like,
at all.
I don't know. I'm kind of tired of the like spooky hillbilly thing. You know what I'm
too.
saying? Like spooky crack. These are like urban crackheads. But like, it's just I don't know if it's that it's too real that I don't like it seeing it in my movie, which
Yeah.
is supposed to be escapism.
Yeah.
Or if it's just like not entertaining or both. But I'm tired of it.
So there's a genre that we have to put like a name on
Right.
here, because I'm trying to even think where it started, but it's this like nihilistic kind of 2010s or 2000s era where the motive of the killer or killers is always because you were home,
Yeah.
right? Like they are just bored suburbanites
Mm-hmm.
who, to amuse themselves, kill other people, you know, just in extremely sadistic ways.
But it's for like a stupid made up purpose. It's very Manson family.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Like that's what it.
To me, that was just like, okay, so they're putting like a vaguely satanic spin on it, but I'm like, these people just want to kill people. They're getting a thrill out of it. It's the thrill killer thing. Where did this all? I mean, I know obviously I said a quote from The Strangers,
right?
But there was a French movie before that called Them, and when was Funny Games? I mean,
the first one was 1997, the second one was 2007. So yeah, it's right up. It like French extremism overlaps with like these like nihilistic like 2010s like bored yuppie home invasion movies. Like I would say The Purge even like kind of leans into that a little bit too.
But it's also that kind of like
the bling ring.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're all part. Yeah. But it all is kind of like the killers aren't psychopaths, right? They're not, they're just bored.
Don't Breathe even is like that. Those kids are shitheads like breaking into a house to steal stuff. Yeah, it's like shithead urbanites that, I don't know, there's got to be some parallel between like the like 2008 mortgage crisis and like this kind of overflow of these movies about poor people fighting back. You know, the way horror reflects what we're going through at the time. It's like, man, no one had money.
Yeah,
no one had money, so poverty is what we're afraid of. So our villains are poor crackheads in every movie.
Yeah, but you're right. The theme is there because the girl we established she's at a wealthy person's school, but she could barely scrape by to afford to get there.
The scariest part of this movie was watching her fill out FAFSA paperwork.
Oh God!
Holy, I like had a visceral like body shiver being like, I remember having to do that and how much it sucked. And how you just felt like your soul leave your body because you're just like, cool, that's the rest of my life.
That used to be my
signed
job.
on this paper.
We're gonna have to write a paper on this though. This genre because it's always the movies take the perspective of the people on the lower rung of the social ladder, right, against the like. Well, I don't know. They're not necessarily. We don't know who the attackers are in this case, but you know if they're well-to-do or whatever. But it like positions that as like class warfare. Yeah, you know the rich literally preying on the
Hunt
poor.
even is like a late entry into that.
So she's ultimately left alone at school. And one night she goes to and I guess you know. If the movie didn't have that opening credit sequence, it would have started with the finding the body in the field, and you'd be like, "What's going on?" Right? And then, so then we introduced to her, and she's left alone, and like, "Oh, I'm by myself in the dorm." There is a security guard. There is a security force, I guess, right? One security guard, and like I think there's at least two others, or at least the gate guy, right? And a gardener.
Yep,
James Ransone.
Yeah, I went to college. Don't remember there being like a middle-aged like loner groundskeeper that lived in a shack on the property.
Nope.
I was like, you worked at Rock Valley for a time. Did you guys have this guy?
I worked there for 5 years.
Did you have a groundskeeper Willie type?
No, we didn't. We had a crew, like a normal college.
A lawn care service comes and does it. Yeah.
I wonder if he's supposed to. Is that like he's the head of the crew? But
why is he living there?
I don't know.
They don't live there.
No,
that's not a thing.
It hasn't been a thing since like the 70s.
Right.
Yeah,
like that hasn't been a thing for a long time.
So how does Justine? That's her name. How does Justine become chosen as a victim of a potential victim for the cult?
She takes her roommate's BMW, which you gotta wonder if she had not taken. Well, here's the thing: like when she's the only one on this campus other than the security guard, literally the only student. So if there's one car in the parking lot, it's hers. So if the car's not there, she's not there. That's what sucks. If her roommate had not left her the car, maybe this wouldn't have happened.
I do want to protest this. There is no fucking way that every student drove their car home for Thanksgiving.
Right, exactly.
There's no fucking way.
Most students don't even have cars. Yeah.
Most of them don't have cars or they flew home, whatever. There's no way there's one car in the parking lot. I'm already calling bullshit on this.
Yeah. But she takes her friend's BMW to the gas station to get snacks. And draws attention to herself because she has a BMW. With crackhead Alice from Twilight. Literally,
Is that the
like
first thing she says, "I like your car." Is that what she says first?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's chosen her based on
Yeah,
okay,
I like your car, and then you have pretty hair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm. And so they assume she's more privileged than she is because she has a fancy car, and that's like meets their demographic. And there's just a lot of tense back and forth in this gas station, and Haley Bennett goes to check out.
And she's just being a bitch. She's like throwing magazines on the floor.
Yeah.
Ashley Greene.
Dude, but honestly, if you've been to a gas station ever in your life, you've seen someone act like this, right? Like, it doesn't matter what time of day you go or anything, but we've all been to the gas station at one point where there's someone that's like,
just being a
oh
dick.
boy, like they're on something, or they're like,
Our listeners in less urban areas are like, what are you talking about?
No, this is normal gas station. This is normal gas station behavior, unfortunately. Like,
this is normal.
Yeah. Some gas stations, this is like mild,
Yeah.
But that's what's the thing. The trailer and certain other things about this movie would have you believe that maybe there's a supernatural element to this movie, but no, it's just like you said, no, it's just crackheads. Like it's like when you say crackhead, like her lips are all chapped, her teeth are rotted out, like she looks strung out,
like I'm already. The filmmaker's already losing me by the bad guy being 4 tweaked out idiots.
Yeah.
Like, there is no way they're going to spend all of this time doing this. There's no way they're going to spend all this time planning this. Like, I already have so many strikes against this movie.
Well, I grant you that the calling them tweakers is based on her appearance, Ashley Greene's appearance. She's the only one, you see her face. She wears a hood.
They're wearing masks made of foil.
Yeah. And
what do you think that foil's used for?
Right.
And duct tape. I saw there's some duct tape in there. But they're never actually seen doing anything, and they seem with it, I guess.
No,
she's very twitchy and strung out, obviously. She has all the dark circles and everything. She's acting very erratically. Like you said, like she can't do anything. She's very confrontational all the time, agitated.
It read to me as you've got, she's the ringleader. And then she's got 3 dudes who are basically the hulking brutes, in hoodies and masks that wander around with hammers and,
But I thought they were all trying to get to her first. Like, did it not seem like they were competing against each other to see who could get her first?
Maybe that's part of the game.
Yeah. I
don't know.
Well, there's a lot of things that just don't make sense with this.
Right.
As we jump into it, there's a whole scene where she, there's the confrontation at the gas station, and then on the road, she like almost hits them and they try to block her.
Which that stressed me out.
That stressed me out too.
I worry about a road rage incident like that.
That's terrifying. I've had someone follow me to work before.
Yeah,
it's terrifying.
Oh boy, that part I was like, okay, terrifying. I feel for this girl. But then, my sympathy for her went down as this movie kept going. But
because then she comes back to the dorm and, tells the security guard, there's people out there. He's like, I'll keep my eye out, blah, blah, blah.
To his credit, he believes her and immediately starts like,
He does.
Yeah. Ears up. You know.
I like the security guard. I do.
But he's too pure-hearted. That's how you know
way
it's
too
not
pure.
Gonna,
But then here's another thing that really bothered me is they have this cat and mouse with her right away.
The
killers right away. They like find her in her room, they chase her around, and then once they cut the power and kill the security guard, then they like confront her and they're like, the hunt is on. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, didn't you just start? I know.
What was that?
They're scaring her.
Scaring her? She's already scared.
Yeah.
They just had the hunt.
Because there was, like, it's one of those movies where there's opportune technological problems.
Right.
Like, she at some point hears something in somewhere, like she hears voices and she's supposed to be alone. So she wanders down and it's in her room, which I was like, how'd they know it was her room? But there's a laptop and on the laptop is playing a murder video.
Darknet.
From Darknet.
But when she touches the screen, it's like your internet connection is out. I'm like, did they cut it right then?
Right.
It always seems to be like they are able to communicate with her. And then they cut the power.
See, this is the level of sophistication that Holly says is not possible with crackhead mentality.
The crackheads have done this enough.
No.
They have gone through the list of like, we're not going to let the next one do that.
Shit.
I mean, it's true. We do see like 7 to 8 kills per state. It seems like so.
But there are 4 tweakers on an entire university campus.
Yeah.
You're telling me that they know how to cut the power? They know where to cut the phone cords. They know where to cut the Wi-Fi. All of that, they know exactly where to go and do this.
They're really banking on her being the only one there, huh?
Right?
Like did they just follow her back and they're like, oh, her car is the only one here, perfect.
Yeah, because they were like, it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's on this road. Because I was trying to work that out. Like, how do they, And they're like, she's on this road. She's probably going to, and that's why they stopped on that road. They're like, this is the only way back to the school. And then they're like, I bet she's there for thanks. I imagine the conversation taking place in the car.
Even
with
if
these
that
four people.
is the case, they treat this campus like they're the fucking maintenance guy. They know where everything is.
Yeah.
And that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because the first thing
She's
you
in the
gotta do,
library and they run to the library. Do you know how big a campus is?
Oh my God.
How do you just know where the library is? You can't tell me they've ever stepped foot there with these
but
fucking
there's 4 of
tweakers.
them.
No.
Yeah, there's 4 of them. They split up.
When
So
was the
that's
last
what-
time you were on a university
Yeah.
campus? It's huge. It's
this
huge.
brought me back to a lot of my college memories watching this movie, because like some of it did even look familiar with its weird minimalist architecture and stuff. But yeah, there was
The
a
big
time.
cement pillars.
Yes,
and
always.
I know.
My ours was like cement pillars and then like weird cement triangles holding up the side. Yeah, they're like all college campuses
NIU.
were built at the same time. Yeah, seriously. But I remember there was a time I did appreciate that they featured the campus police call button for emergencies.
Yes.
So these are all over college campuses. It's literally like a
over.
blue
The blue
pillar
box.
that's lit up.
Yep.
If you have an emergency, you're supposed to run and slap the button.
Yep.
And I remember I had to walk from my art building to my parking lot because I was a commuter and we had to park farther away. Was literally a mile.
Yeah.
And there was 3 of those boxes along the walk. And I always remember thinking how long it would be from one box to another,
sure.
just in case
Yeah.
I ever had to use it.
Yep.
But there was always jokes that like, well, do we even know that they work? Like, because there's so many of them, how often are they really maintained? But I do love that it made it into this movie, though.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, that is like a very college realistic thing.
But did she pass one?
she hit one, didn't
she hit
she?
a button?
Yeah,
And did
but
it
I
go
think
off?
it was cut because
Exactly.
they got it.
It was
yeah.
cut, Colin. So they knew how to cut the blue box.
Yes, the campus police box.
There are
yeah.
4 tweakers, only 4, and they knew how to cut everything,
Well,
and they
yeah,
cut it
but
just in
The
time.
movie covers this because at some point on security camera, right before the power goes out, we
Right.
see a guy cut the power.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting that like you cut the power and then other parts, the
I-
other power is still working.
Generators,
and
I
then it
guess?
just goes out whenever she needs
I
it.
absolutely love that the power box, whatever you want to call it, the generator, is outside.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Perfectly
it's a,
available
it's
to
a
him.
meter. You
Perfectly
see him by the
available
meter.
for his cutting pleasure.
But the movie thought of it though.
Mhm.
We're gonna cover this.
Fucking Ollie.
So actually, that made me question. So there's the blue box, but there's also like this, call this number in the event of an emergency. It's not 911. At some point, she does get a hold of
Yeah,
a
and that
phone.
sign said for maintenance, for emergency maintenance issues.
Yeah,
to call
which
that
is
number.
different than campus security. It's not the same
It's
thing.
not the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
And also,
why didn't she call the police?
in
Well, here's the thing: like, you have campus police. Like, that's the thing with colleges that are big enough. They're like almost like their own little cities. Like they had, like my college had its own police force. It had its own doctor's office. It had all this shit. So like, there's usually campus police around, even if there's not regular police. But yeah,
yeah.
But I guess my point being that like she calls that number at
Yeah.
some point
Well,
and is
she-
greeted by a helpful person who's like, okay, where are you? We'll send the police. And then like, we'll do that for
I
you,
can- okay.
Christy.
I can
Did
actually defend
Ashley
this part.
Greene
Okay.
get his.
I can
phone?
actually
Yeah.
I can actually defend this part. She tried to call the police
Okay.
and she didn't have service. When she
Yeah.
got to an area that she had service, the phone rang and the person on the other line was like, "Did you just try to call emergency?"
I missed
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it was
okay.
like 911 calling her back.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
that's
it was
right.
actually Ashley Greene.
Now I
Yeah.
remember the line. Did you just call the emergency
Yes.
line?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
I'm sorry that I have to
Damn it.
defend that.
Logic's bomb. It checks out.
But I wish I didn't have to defend it, but I will.
So, there's a game. I mean, basically, that's what the movie becomes, and for most of its running time. That's why I said it's like a survival horror movie. It's not so much about like plot as it is instance of her running, close calls. They almost get her. She gets away, right? Or somehow evades detection, or she's confronted, and it's like the first thing she's got to try to get help. She eventually goes to the groundskeeper's house when she realizes they're
Yes.
in there and they're trying to kill her, right? And he's
So-
got
yeah.
a dog.
And
Oh, poor
his
baby.
behavior, I thought he was going to be in on it.
Me
The
too,
way he was
yeah.
acting.
Which I think they meant for us to think that because I felt
I
that
think
way
so too, but really he's just an idiot.
He's just stupid.
Like, because she goes into his cabin, he's got all the candles going because apparently he knows the power's going to be out, I guess.
Yeah.
Hanging
I
out
got
with his
the
dog.
idea- See, I don't know. This wasn't like because maybe it was missed. I thought his behavior was because he had all the candles going, like he was fucking stoned out of his mind.
I mean, probably he was. But yeah,
He
And
did
then all of a sudden, this girl shows up, like, help, there's people.
He did have a little home garden in the background.
Right. But she did ask him like 3 times, where's your cell phone? Just call 911. And his response was, no, I have a shotgun.
Yeah.
He's like, well, he went looking for the phone at one point, and he's gone in this like tiny little house. And it gets all suspenseful because, like, where'd he go?
I think he's one of those, like, what stops a bad guy with a gun, a good guy with a gun mentality people.
Probably.
And thought he saw his hero moment until he went to go do it. And then was like, oh, shit, they killed my dog. Just kidding. I don't want in on this. Yeah. Unnecessary dog death.
Unnecessary.
Off screen.
Yep.
Off screen, but you still hear it. I don't like hearing it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, so these guys are, experienced in taking down, like, I mean, this is like an attack dog, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is not like, a little puppy. This is a big fucking monster dog.
Yeah.
And they kill it.
Right.
And then,
and for some reason, even though he's the groundskeeper, it's his cell number that's posted all over campus. That makes no sense.
Right.
Because it was the maintenance number.
He's not the maintenance guy. He's the groundskeeper.
Yeah. He's just mowing the lawn and stuff.
Why is it his number? Also, it wouldn't go directly to his phone. It would go to some office.
Okay, you got me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's stupid.
All right. So he's killed. Oh, shit. I forgot how he was killed. Because there's a whole
hang him.
Oh, that's right.
With the hose.
There's a whole thing at his house, right? It's like they're outside. The emergency lights will go off. We're going to scare him off. And then he eventually goes out and is tackled because, there's multiple killers. We were aware that there were multiple killers, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because he asks her how many are out there, and she said at least 4.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, that's set up like from the jump. So it's like, okay, he sees one of them. He goes out. One comes at him from the side. And then she goes out and he's strung up in the front yard, and they kill him in front of her.
Yep.
She then gets his cell phone and like runs back. She's trying to escape because this is still like, okay, you try to get help. She finds the security guard. She watches one of the security guards get killed in front of her.
Yep.
Behind the door, right behind the glass door. She can't do anything about it. Then she finds another security guard dead in his car in the parking garage.
And the keys are gone, so she can't take the car.
So we're like, okay, help is not coming. Your next thing is get the hell out of the situation. So she does. She runs out the gate all around the side of and she's out. But the movie conspires to bring her back in. How does it do that?
What scene? Wait. What?
The boyfriend?
The boyfriend. Oh.
The boyfriend shows up.
Oh, the boyfriend shows up and he starts just walking around campus, yelling for her.
Yeah, just gets out of his car, leaves the car running.
Yep.
She sees him drive by, but it's one of those like she's yelling at him, Aaron, but he's already driven past. So it's like, oh, frustration. She's got to go back.
And he sees a person and he knows she's the only person here. So he assumes it's her, gets really close. I feel like I would hope my partner would know that's not me within 5 feet of standing close to me.
She's wearing her hat.
Yeah, but if the build is not similar, look from behind. I feel like I know what my partner looks like from behind. Yeah, anyways, he gets way too close and then finds out too late it's not her. She comes running back, calling his name, and when he turns around to run to her, someone jumps out behind one of these minimalist pillars we talked about and stabs him.
There's an emotional payoff to the scene because she gets his backpack later and ends up listening to the recording that he made of him saying, I love you.
Yep.
Heartbreaking.
Yep.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's what the movie did pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this, I guess, is the turning of the tide, right? Because now his car is there and it does have the keys in it. And so she gets in the car and she's going to take off.
And then one of the tinfoil mask people jumps on the hood of the Range Rover because he's rich also.
Also rich.
Yep.
Jumps on the hood of the Range Rover. And she tries to do the thing where you speed up and slam on your brakes so hard that they fly off the hood, but he's got a hammer, so he just keeps hammering into the windshield so she can't see, and he's got like better grip. So of course she runs into a minimalist concrete pillar, and fucks the car.
Yeah, it does kill him.
Yes,
but it fucks the car.
Yep. I feel like there was a better middle ground there.
Yeah.
Airbags are not deployed, Range Rover. We want to point that out.
Yep.
They're made by like Jaguar or something, right? Is that
yeah.
I would expect better safety.
I would
features.
expect you pay for it.
Yeah.
Yep. Seriously.
I know that. What are those? Like
Right.
$100,000.
Those are expensive cars.
So now she can't drive away. She's
Yep.
still trapped here, but now she has killed one of them. So now it's 3 against 1, not 4 against 1.
And this is why I started thinking, how the hell is she going to explain this to anybody?
Right.
What do you say?
Right.
These guys showed up and tried to kill me, and I killed one of them over here, and there's his body.
I mean,
You're still probably going to go to jail for killing 4 people.
No, it's self-defense. Easy
I think
case.
manslaughter, you still go to jail usually.
No, because you're going to get it connected to like all this like cult murder shit.
You get
that's going on
immunity for
across
bringing down the cult. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Yeah,
So-
that makes sense.
so she's got to get them on her turf.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is where that's what the movie does, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, if you're
It's my
scripting-
home. I have to defend it. Is very much her attitude. Yeah.
That's right. So
Becomes
aspiring
Kevin McAllister.
Yeah.
screenwriters
It
out
does.
there, if you're like listening to this, what you need to do is actually the next thing is you got to get these guys in your turf. And so what is her turf?
She is on the swim team.
She works in the library.
She works in the library.
also works at a diner. No, in the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
In
yeah.
the kitchen.
Does she work at
And-
the
Because she had something with the library because she had the keys. She said, I have keys to the library.
Oh, yeah.
So there's something with, but she's poor, so she has to work multiple jobs
Yeah.
on campus.
But
so,
she also is a good studier because
Mhm.
we heard here earlier she's got to hit the books because what class is she in?
she was in some advanced science class, right?
Chemistry.
Yeah,
Chemistry. Okay.
Mhm.
That's
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah. We see a whole
So,
lecture
I mean-
about creating
Yeah.
fire from water.
All right.
Because she's on the swim team, so she's got to keep up her grades to keep her scholarship.
Yep.
But I mean, okay, so from a screenplay, perspective,
Mhm.
right? In those initial moments where we're seeing a day in her life, and you're
Mhm.
saying it's like a montage of stuff, but you are getting the information that she's a swimmer,
Mhm.
she works in the kitchen,
Mhm.
she has a science clip.
And
It's
the
like
science clip is not just any science clip. It's like turning, what do you say, sand into water or something into
it's like
fire.
lighting
Yeah.
hydrogen something on
Some chemical
fire.
reaction to create fire.
I'm
Yeah.
not I know. Somebody out there is like, God damn it.
It's important.
this.
Comes back later.
Chemistry was never my thing.
Yeah, same.
But
Too hard.
all of those things that are set up in the first 20 minutes pay off.
hmm Yep.
So, I mean, it's like, I guess, so the first thing she does, she takes one of them into the kitchen,
Mhm.
right? Where she's able to use distraction and
Mhm.
all of this. Did she kill one of them in the kitchen? I don't think so.
No. The kitchen is like one of the first places she takes them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she just distracts. She's like
She
bangs some
uses-
pans. And
Yeah.
Then she goes to the library and she distracts them in the library with the with the phone.
Right.
Mhm.
Because she's using her knowledge of the area
Campus.
to
Right.
her
Yeah.
advantage. And then she goes to the pool.
The pool.
Mhm.
That's her turf.
That's right.
They're
Because
in her house now.
Mhm.
That's right. And so she's like still basically trying to evade them.
Mhm.
And so she hops into the, a guy comes in with a flashlight. It's all dark because they've cut the
Mhm.
power, right?
Mhm.
So she comes in and slips into the water. And I was actually like kind of impressed by this scene.
Mhm.
There's a lot of long takes as you're following people around. But this one follows her like underwater
Mhm.
where she holds her breath for 30 seconds
Mhm.
before, like as we're waiting for like the dude. I was waiting for something to happen. I guess the flashlight beam or something
Right.
to come through the water because we're like, okay, we're down with her.
Right.
And I guess we're supposed to be like,
Yep.
how long can you hold your
Mhm.
breath?
Mhm.
And she comes up and the guy is gone.
He's walking out the door.
Yeah.
I guess she comes up. Yep.
So what is her plan from there then? If he's walking out the door, she'd be fine, but she has other plans. She prepares. You remember this? She hides in the bleachers. She puts her goggles on. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, she's
Yeah.
going back in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she knows
And-
he's going to come back.
She,
apparently.
well, she rigs a trap to bring
Yeah.
him back. She puts like a hose, in the water.
Yeah.
And then did she arm herself? I don't think
she had a key. She had the
Mhm.
keys.
Yeah.
The
She
BMW
scratched his
keys.
face.
She had the keys.
hmm
Yep.
And it scratched his face, went in the water with him, and then choked him out with the bat that says the boss on it.
So
I like the bat. Yeah.
yeah, so that's the second guy, right?
Yeah.
She kills another
Right.
guy
Yeah.
in the pool.
Yes.
And we're like, okay, 2 down,
Right.
2 to go, right? I mean,
Yep.
that's where this movie is taking us,
And where do you go after you're in the pool? You go to the showers.
Yes.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because this is what she knows.
Mhm.
However, she begins to show more final girl. These are like the final girl moments,
Mhm.
right? Where she uses her environment to her advantage. She starts looking for tools and stuff and starts MacGyvering
Mhm.
shit.
Yes.
I love that stuff.
Mhm.
But it did kind of strike me as funny is that her weapon of choice is the bat.
Right.
I'm like, you're in a school campus.
Right.
Like, clearly there must be fire axes or something,
Yeah. Literally anything. Yeah.
archery, you know, like.
She has access to the gym clearly because she's at the pool. Yeah. So there's got to be something better than a baseball bat.
I know.
And
Nail
is it-
guns.
Is
right
it
in the
just because we
tool
got that scene of her hitting balls around the hallway in the beginning? Is that the only reason that came back?
shed?
that was
See, it was
stupid.
set up.
That was a stupid setup. Nobody would do that. Hit tennis balls down a hallway with a baseball bat.
She was so bored on that first day. That's how far it went. She was like, it was 10 hours. And she
Dude,
was like,
If I was alone on college campus for 4 days, but I still had internet access, I would never be bored. I'd be totally fine. I'd be totally fine being left alone that long.
I'm like, I'm alone all the time at my
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
It's just a normal time for
You don't.
me.
So you don't hit tennis balls down your hallway with a baseball bat
Never
when
once.
you're bored.
Not once. I
Gotcha.
play with my cat though.
Gotcha.
you should take up this pastime. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe this is, from movies. They tell us,
Who knows?
even Jack Torrance in The Shining.
Hmm. He threw a
Eventually-
ball around. Yeah.
Yep.
I paint.
So that's what you're supposed to do when you're bored is throw a ball down a hallway, huh? All right.
We've come a long way
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. The Shining, if it was made now, everyone would sign the fuck up to do it. Are you kidding me?
Right?
You're gonna go
Yeah.
live at a ski resort for 3 months. I bet that there's
100%.
internet, right? So I could sit there
No,
and
yeah.
I could stream shit, listen to podcasts, read some books. Fuck
Yep.
yeah, I'm
Like
down.
the boiler. That's
Yeah.
all you got to do.
Done.
So she goes into the showers and we see her making a wicked nail bat.
Yes.
Right? Because she's
Mhm.
smart. She's like, I'm not just going to hit him with a
Mhm.
bat. I'm going to hit him with a fucking Snake Plissken bat,
Mhm.
right? From Escape from New York. So one of the guys, this is like the most we actually see one of these guys, like the body language of the killer tells you what about these people?
They're not very smart.
Well, it's just fun for him.
Yeah.
He's just playing a game.
It struck me as a superiority.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like she's never going to get away. I'm
Yeah.
going to get her.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna take off my jacket, get comfortable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and he's whistling because that's what they
Mhm.
do. He is aware that one of the other ones is dead.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He does see the other
He
one
takes
dead
a
in the
picture.
pool
Mhm.
because I assume that's going. I don't know if he was because right then I was like, is he taking a picture to send to Ashley Greene? But the
Mhm.
internet doesn't work. So is he just taking a picture to like upload later? Is it another death? They're like, oh, my buddy's dead. Or does he even know who that guy is? He must. They travel together and kill people.
I assume that he knows. But I think it's just a situation. He's like, well, I guess I'll leave him. I should probably take a picture before I go.
Gotta document everything.
Yeah.
So they don't care. They're nihilists, right?
I guess,
We're
yeah.
nihilists.
They're
from
tweakers.
Lebowski.
They do feel
They
like
don't care
could have
about
been-
anything.
They feel like they could be one of the roving street gangs in the Purge,
Yep.
right? Like they
Yeah.
feel like they would fit in with all those freaks wearing
Yep.
masks and the Purge anarchy, you know?
Yep, yes, they
So,
do.
mhm.
So she uses the art of distraction, art of
Mhm.
warfare, distraction, and then whacks him over the head with the bat. And then there's a poignant moment where she unmasks him. And what does she find?
It's a dude.
Some guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Shit.
like, this is someone she's never met, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not missing anything.
Yeah.
So would
Yeah,
it have
just some
been
guy.
better if they didn't unmask him?
Yeah, because it didn't serve a purpose.
No, and then she's like, almost has like compassion for him,
Right.
Because he's laying there dying, and she's just like, shh, like,
Mhm.
what's happening? Did she feel bad
Oh,
for him?
no. She was mimicking the move. Wasn't she mimicking the move? The guy like shh to her through the. I thought I read that as cold. She's like shh.
No, that's
No?
not how I read it.
Okay. I I think it matters more if you unmask your killer in these kind of movies, if you know who, because some of them end up being like, it's the kids going home or on the school bus the next morning or whatever.
Right. Like if it was someone that she knew, it would have made sense. But
yeah.
I was just like, did I miss something?
Right.
No, it's like, this is some dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who that is. So now with all 3 of the thugs, the muscle gone, she gets his phone. And he's getting a text from Dark Violet. That's I guess that's her name, Ashley Greene's character's name. And so goes like, how's she going to approach her? She's waiting because she's like, did you kill Kristy? And so she
says yes, but why for yes?
And then she's like, okay, meet me at the car. Like, okay. So how's she going to? What kind of subterfuge is she going to use to approach? Dark
chemistry.
Yeah, she uses chemistry to create a throwable fire.
And she
lights Ashley
dresses
Greene
in
on
the
fire.
guy's,
And wears this mask. Yep. So she some of this movie really felt like a video game, and her taking his outfit and basically stealthing up to this lady to throw fire acid on her.
Yeah.
Felt like a video game for sure.
Is that where the term survival horror comes from? Video games?
Probably. I'm sure.
Right.
They've been around forever. Yeah.
You could play horror movies and it put you in those positions.
That's why people love Dead by Daylight. Because you get to play as either the killer or the survivor in a horror movie all the time.
But I always wonder if that, it's like video games based it on horror movies. And then horror movies like this one took that idea that it's the survival, somebody fighting to survive, clawing their way out of these near-death situations. You can make a whole movie out of it. You don't even need a plot, right? It's just those situations. People will watch it. They watch people stream video games on Twitch or whatever. So she confronts Ashley Greene, tosses the substance on her, and then burns her alive. I mean, is there any kind of justification for the murder spree?
That's what I'm saying. How's she going to explain all this shit, man? She has a lengthy court battle ahead of her.
Yeah, but I don't.
I mean, she doesn't really have a choice, but
But I don't think she does because the movie helpfully gives us news clippings or news snippets. We hear
well, because then she takes the video and she uploads it to the dark net.
Yes,
and she was like, the hunt is over.
Yeah, they're called the Fold.
Like they lost.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's their It's like, I got you, motherfuckers. Basically, it's over, and then it's like. We hear that evidence recovered on the suspect's phone linked to, there are arrests made in other states because there's all these people.
So she single-handedly broke this case wide open by just turning in a guy's cell phone. So it tells me lots of police have not been doing their job across the country because it took her to bring this whole thing down.
That's why the movie's called Kristy. It's about the one that the one that beat them all, the one that got away.
Right.
Well,
that's her story.
Right.
There's a part where we see a chat with all these states chiming in with their body counts, and they're all like Oklahoma 7, Colorado 8, and it's like, okay, that seems pretty high if every state's having almost 10. You think we notice the connection here?
Seriously, 3 or more is a serial killer,
and they all have the same K on them, presumably.
Telling me that, all these states have these serial killers with the same
and no one's connected.
No
to
one's
this.
seeing this.
It's crazy.
They are because the FBI is investigating, ladies.
Well,
They say
they're moving too slow. Yeah, but Haley Bennett's still the one who brings it all down, even though the FBI is investigating. So they're doing a shit job because
apparently they're not issuing the right wiretaps and subpoenas.
It shouldn't be hard to find these tweakers in the big ugly car.
The fucking dark net,
which apparently is
dark.net.
Apparently is easy to just bring up on a laptop.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't need codes or anything.
No, I feel like the FBI should crack that.
Yeah. She came back and it was just up on her laptop.
Yeah, it was just there.
Yeah.
And she and she finishes by saying, "I'm no longer Justine, I'm Kristy."
I hated that. What am I supposed to take away from that?
What the fuck was that?
What is that? How are we supposed to read that?
Dead.
Yeah.
My name is Kristy.
So the cult won because they brainwashed you? That's what I'm hearing.
She's assuming she's taking, it's like sainthood for victims. Kristy. It's like the patron saint of all these murder victims, right? And she's personified.
That is a Christ complex that I cannot get on board with.
It's weird to name yourself after the crime that was committed on you.
Yeah. But is it because her boyfriend's dead? It's like, okay, my whole life is destroyed, Apparently she doesn't have a family?
Yeah, she does. She talks to them on the phone.
Yeah,
she
she
does.
does.
She just can't go home
Yeah,
because she
maybe
can't
so.
afford
It
it.
was too expensive
Yeah,
to go
she just
home,
can't
yeah.
afford it. She
Yeah.
was like crying.
So
She
she'd save it
clearly
for
has-
Christmas. Yeah.
She clearly has a loving family.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. It makes no sense.
It makes no
Yeah.
sense.
Makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Doesn't hold up. All right.
All right then.
Yeah.
Well, that's the movie. So I tell you what, listener, we're going to go around the table and we're going to tell you whether or not you should watch this movie, if you should seek it out. But
Mhm.
first, we're going to read some of your mail. And in order to do that, we're going to have to summon our mailman. His name's Igor. Bring us the mail.
Masters, the mail. I've got the mail. So many letters. Our followers are rising.
Why, thank you, Igor.
Did he go to college?
I mean, he did.
He lived at a college.
Part of him did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the parts.
All the
Well,
parts,
some
though.
of them.
At different colleges, though,
At different
right?
Yeah.
colleges.
He has many alma maters, right? his arm went to one, and his
Yeah.
brain went to another. He's,
He's a very learned man.
Yeah, he is.
Igor. Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
Man of the
yeah.
world,
Yeah.
really.
We should get all of his degrees up on the wall sometime.
I
We
put the
should.
best
Yeah.
brain in it. It was somebody
Yeah.
named Abby
Abby
something.
someone?
Yeah, yeah.
Abby
Mhm.
Normal. It's a good joke.
It is a good joke.
All right. Well, we should
Still
let
makes me
the good folks at home know how they can participate on this interactive portion of our show by following along on Facebook
Facebook.com/Saturday Night Freak Show
or X
at Sat Freak Show.
or by email
SaturdayNightFreakShow@yahoo.com.
or on Instagram and Threads at Saturday Night Freak Show. About tonight's movie, tonight's movie is Kristy. Michael Whitaker wrote it.
Has someone seen it?
He said, I never heard of it.
Nope. Okay.
But the synopsis says it's about a serial killer cult, and it's always a fun subject matter for a horror movie.
You'd think.
If only.
You'd think.
Last week, we watched a movie called Blood Freak.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
My Mostly Unfabulous Life wrote in and said, okay, after listening to this week's show, I had to grab a plate of stuffing and sit down and watch this masterpiece. And all I can say is that I'm really leery of calling the Butterball hotline this holiday season.
I love it.
Yep.
Blood Freak. A
It is something.
holiday tradition from here on out.
Yeah.
The week before, we watched a movie called Stir of Echoes.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Legler writes in and says, it's a given that bacon was good in this because just like any meal, bacon makes everything better. However, he would have been better to use his talents in Tremors 2 through 8, or better yet, the real Stir of Echoes should be him seeing different versions of himself from other movies and going insane and not knowing if it was all a dream, past lives, or second sight in another dimension. Just think of himself seeing himself die in Friday the 13th.
I was going to say, seeing himself in Maxine would be a trip.
Right?
Yeah.
I
That was
loved
a
him in
choice.
I mean,
Yeah.
I had Being John Malkovich.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you could
I
do
would
this
rather
with
watch Being Kevin Bacon. Yeah. I want to know. I want him to go back and answer for the Hollow Man version of himself. That's what I want.
Seriously. We won't talk about sleepers.
Nope.
And what was that one where he played a child molester? The
Sleepers.
Woodsman or something? No, the Woodsman.
No.
Was it the Woodsman?
I don't know.
Seems like that was it.
He's
It's a
done
good movie. He's
done,
creepy.
He's done too
Yeah.
many of those
Yeah, he's
movies.
done-
Yeah.
Too many.
Ajit Matthews, I think I'm pronouncing the name right, says Stir of Echoes was a creep of a thriller. Doug Mack says Stir of Echoes is very underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Austin Bowers says Catherine Irby,
Mm-hmm.
the wife in Stir of
Irby?
Echoes,
Mm-hmm.
was also in D2 The Mighty Ducks as the interim head coach.
Nice.
Yes.
And Carson Snar says, I got to dig.
I got to dig. Got to dig.
The week before, we watched a movie called Dagon. The boy with the Jason tattoo says, so I never seen this movie, but when I used to work at Hastings, this was the cover I saw. Oh, the original DVD cover. And I had no interest in it. But now I see the other cover art. That's the Vestron video.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Blu-ray release. I'm more excited to experience it with you all.
It was a good
And
cover.
Jen Zombie says, anime squid porn fanboys everywhere are loving this movie.
Yep. I'm sure they're keeping it going.
Yep.
Anime squid porn
Yeah.
fanboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
That's a
subgenre
thing.
of porn.
That's a thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anime porn with squid
The
tentacles
decline
involved.
of the Western civilization. All right. Well, thank you, each of you, for writing in. We appreciate it. And now we're going to go around the table, tell you what we thought, starting with,
Colin.
oh boy. Hot seat.
What did you think tonight of this film that we watched?
Okay, so I am of two minds of it. Okay, it's a movie I don't think holds up to a second viewing.
Okay.
The first time I saw it, I liked it.
Mhm.
I mean, I remember thinking like, okay, it's an effective stalker movie. It was tense. I thought the suspense was well done. As Michaela pointed out while we were watching it, there were moments where they held some restraint as far as jump scares, and then they would,
undo it in the very next scene.
undo it in the very next scene.
Yep.
So there's, it's an okay thriller. That's what you're looking for. That's what you're going to get. It's fine. I think this time tonight, I didn't have any fun with it at all. I think because I knew where it was going, and it was like, how long does it take to get there? So, but if you're going for a first watch, and unfortunately now that you've listened to our show, you've heard everything about it. But yeah, I would recommend it. I think it was a fine, representation of the thriller genre. Holly, what did you think?
You just recommended it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it works.
You lost your
Did it
mind.
not work?
No, it doesn't
Okay.
work at all.
All right, I thought it worked.
No, it doesn't work.
I think it would have been better. I would have cut I would have done it and just let
You
you
would have fixed
figure
some
out
editing,
what
yeah.
was going on as the movie went. That's my
I don't
problem
think that's
watching
the
it
only
this time.
problem. I don't think it's the only problem. Because I can really see me being angry if we get to the end of the movie and find out that was the only motivation. That there's hardly a motivation.
Yeah, but that is part and parcel with that genre, that era. It's like, it's random victims.
Yeah, I just need more, I guess. No, I'm not going to recommend it at all. No, I did not like this movie. It left so much. There's so many holes. It made me mad in so many ways. I mean, maybe it's because I worked at a college, so I'm seeing all like the little holes of getting out of this situation and how this would never happen. So that could be part of the reason I was so offended by it.
Yeah.
That could be why I'm so offended by
This
it.
is all bullshit.
Like, it's total bullshit. I've worked at a college. I know this wouldn't happen. Like, no, it's just there's so much about this that's unbelievable, and it bugged me. But I don't think that's it though. I think most of it is because the villains are 4 tweakers, and there's no way they could have pulled this off, and that bothers me. I need stronger, more substantial villains if you're going to do this movie. I don't buy it that they're going to be chasing her for hours upon hours. They would have given up a long time ago.
Yeah, but what the villains in like The Strangers?
That movie's executed so much better.
Yeah, that's just so much better.
The execution.
And it's a smaller scope.
Yeah.
It's not a college campus. A university. It's a big university, like a prestigious school.
Is this just The Strangers on a college campus?
It wants to be. But that's the thing. Like when The Strangers was so successful, everyone tried to replicate it, but The Strangers was the perfect execution of it.
Yeah,
we nailed it the first time.
They did it.
We nailed it the first time. We didn't need to keep doing it.
Yeah. So I see what they're trying to do in this movie. I just don't think it's successful. I don't think anyone is very memorable. I don't think there's enough given to the characters. It's very spoon-fed. Like the whole thing, like exactly what's going to happen, exactly how her life ties into where the story's going to go. It's too spoon-fed, especially with that beginning that tells us, oh, this is a cult that kills people that they call Kristy because they don't like privileged people. I really thought there was going to be more to it, and there wasn't. So, yeah, it just strikes all around. Did not care for it. Not going to recommend. And I didn't think it was all that suspenseful. I agree that I was glad they didn't go for some obvious like jump scares. They just didn't go for very much. So, yeah, I'm gonna pass on Kristy. Michaela, take us home.
Yeah, so I've been plumbing the depths of the slasher subreddit to look for slasher movies that we have not seen, and that's where this one came from. And might have to second guess the judgment of that subreddit because they all said this was a really good movie, and I am disappointed. Didn't enjoy it, and not only that, it was so lean of a movie that I was like, I don't know what we're going to talk about because there's not much to this movie at all. Good thing we got in James Ransone tangent because I don't know how else we would have filled that time because there's nothing else to this movie. It's too lean.
It's all situational.
Yeah, it's just I didn't enjoy watching it. I was disappointed. Didn't like the tone. The coolest part was I noticed they played a Lana Del Rey song at one point, and I was like, wow, they had money to buy a Lana Del Rey song, especially in 2014 when like she was probably peak. So didn't enjoy it. I don't even know if I'd call it a slasher.
No,
so I'm mad that I saw it on the slasher subreddit because I don't think I would call it that. I don't think Sean would like this either.
I was thinking about that too. I don't think
he would like it. I don't think he'd be yelling mad about it, but I think he'd be like disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass on it. Didn't enjoy it. And now that you've heard us tell you everything that there is about it, there's nothing more to gain from watching it. So yeah, because it's so bare bones and so minimalistic. And it's weird because it feels like there is money here, but also not. Like, I don't know. It looks professionally well done. The cinematography is interesting at times, but
they had a drone.
They had drone shots. And like even the POV shot of her falling through the tree when she jumps off the roof was pretty cool.
Clearly film on a real campus.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not enough to watch a movie, so pass.
Okay, I'm kind of surprised by that, actually.
I did enjoy it.
All right, so that's 2 passes and a yes for Kristy. Next week, we're going to watch a movie that's chosen by
Colin.
All right, so in 1974, one of the greatest horror movies ever made was released, and that was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Sure.
And it was inspired by the story of a real-life serial killer named Ed Gein. Well, guess what? 1974, there was another movie that was inspired by the story of Ed Gein. Now there's like a show with Charlie Hunnam coming out. We're going to watch Deranged.
All right.
Which is produced
Never
by
seen this.
Bob Clark and stars Roberts Blossom from Christine as the Ed Gein surrogate. So Deranged next week on the set. And it's wintry, and we'll probably have snow by then. Some of you good folks
In the
already
meantime, listeners, be thinking of your listener choice picks.
It's coming up.
Because it's coming up.
That's right. We got the whole year-end celebration planned.
Yes.
Our favorite month,
Yes.
listener choice month. It's coming up. Start thinking.
I can turn my brain off for a whole month.
I know, right?
You're going to pick the movie.
Yes.
So start thinking about it. We'll put that on our social media here in a couple weeks. So yeah, we hope you'll give us some good recommendations. And until then, ladies and germs, the basement is going dark.